Say he tripped over Haley's bag earlier in practice.
Go ahead. You go ahead. Oh, no.
Coverage of the 2017 American Athletic Conference Men's Soccer Championship continues here on the American Digital Network. One semifinal down, one to go. The UCF Knights, the number 2 seed, advancing. We'll see which of these two programs will collide with the Knights on Sunday for the title. The Temple Owls, your 4 seed, SMU, your top seed. And again, a 1-0 decision in favor of the Knights just a moment ago here at Westcott Field on the campus of SMU. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dallas Lincoln Rose Roland Garrett's Way. Of course, SMU claiming that title this past Saturday right here in Dallas for the right to host as your number 1 seed. And Roland, they're looking to carry that momentum and, of course, the home crowd into Sunday's final.
Well, they're an incredibly exciting team to watch. This is going to be a great matchup between them and Temple. I'm ready to see some fireworks.
Well, we take a look at your keys to the match. First up for truly the visitors out of Philadelphia, Temple.
Well, for Temple, as we mentioned, SMU, thrives on having the bulk of possession. You want to see Temple starve SMU of that possession by plugging the passing lanes in the midfield and being physical defensively. The Owls will then be able to create some chances on the counterattack.
How about the Mustangs? They're 10-0 at home this year.
Well, for SMU, this team, they thrive on their possession, and this is a team that only has 2 losses, one of which being to the number 1 team in the nation, Stanford. I think they need to stay true to what got them here. That's keeping possession, being clinical in front of goal, and pushing the pace for 90 minutes.
Of course, soccer truly the international game, and we talk about one of the best in the conference this year. Over from France, the sophomore and Thibaut Candia.
Well, it's Thibaut Candia. He's the team's leading scorer with 6 goals, and having developed his game at Stade Rennes and Angers in Ligue 1 in France, he brings a wealth of experience to this side. He'll be a huge part of any success the Owls find tonight.
Meanwhile, for the Mustangs, you talk about one of the best players returning year in and year out in the conference. They'll have to try to fill a void. They are without, we find out tonight, Mauro Cicero, the midfielder of the year in the conference.
So this kid is so integral to how SMU plays. He's a player that connects the midfield with the attack. You can see within his 9 goals and team-leading 7 assists that he's just as happy creating chances as he is sticking the ball in the back of the net. He'll be a huge loss for these Mustangs.
Mustangs trying to take full advantage of their hosting duties here in Dallas. Your regular season champions looking to lift one more trophy on Sunday. Standing in their way, the Owls. Coming up, opening kick here on ADN.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Mustangs being introduced in front of the home crowd gives us a chance to check in down on the pitch with Haley Alton.
I had a chance to catch up with both head coaches before tonight's match. First on the SMU side, head coach Kevin Hudson says that the Temple Owls, they have enough dangerous pieces on this team to be dangerous, and the Owls have given up a lot of fouls this year, so an area of focus for SMU has been set pieces, something they'll look to potentially capitalize on tonight. And on the other side for Temple, coach says there's not a ton of pressure on them. They know their situation, they know it's do or die if they want to make it to the NCAA tournament, but they feel confident and they believe they can win tonight.
Thank you, Haley. She'll be spending much of this evening between the two benches, keeping an ear on things for us as, again, the Mustangs, they hosted UConn back on Saturday right here at Westcott Field. The #1 seed was on the line. SMU only needed a draw to prevail atop the table ahead of UConn. Well, they came out with a 1-0 victory for the full 3 points, Roland. As a result, they knew they were going to stay at home this weekend.
Well, this team is just unbelievably talented all across the board. They're coming in on such great momentum, as we said before, just 2 losses this season. So I really think they're going to come into this game with tons of confidence and really just be all over tempo early on.
So they'll be without Citro in the midfield. The question will be who will step up for the Mustangs. And, of course, for Temple, they come in at 4-3-0 in conference, 9-7-1. Would love to pick up their 10th win of the season here today under head coach David McWilliams.
All right, Temple, as you said, nothing to lose here. They came in as a 4th seed, really snuck into that last spot, but they're a talented side. And, they don't really have a huge stand-up player. I know we mentioned Thibaut Candia, and he is a special one, but the rest of the team really does chip in with goals. No one really standing out in terms of statistics, but they just really focus on a team mentality, and they're going to be dangerous for this Mustang side, no doubt.
Roland, you and I saw SMU up in Tulsa to start off the conference season back on September 24th. It was scoreless going into overtime. A golden goal on a corner kick for Tulsa would hand SMU the loss. Well, the Mustangs since then have not dropped a match in conference nor out of conference on an 8-match unbeaten streak. Again, their head coach, Kevin Hudson, now in his 11th year with the program, 8 years as an assistant, now in his 3rd year at the helm. Oh, by the way, has a degree with SMU on it. Led SMU's men's team to the College Cup back in 2000.
Well, he's just SMU through and through. He really has these kids bought into his system. They believe in him, and he believes in them. It's just a really good relationship with all of his players, and that's why they found so much success this season.
Mentioned David McWilliams at the helm of Temple in his 18th year as your manager for the Owls, trying to lead them to back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Absolutely, brings a wealth of experience, having played professionally with 20-plus years of coaching experience. He's got this team so disciplined, and they're ready to play tonight.
That impressive win over Penn State back on September 26th. Temple winners 4 of their last 5 matches. The lone loss during that stretch to UCF. Could be a rematch on Sunday if they can get past the host, SMU, here tonight.
SMU really, as you said before, with all the pressure, playing at home, being the #1 seed. And again, one of their standout players, Citro, on the bench tonight with an injury, unfortunately for him. I know he wants to be out on that field, playing with his teammates, contributing to their potential victory tonight. They really have to step up and be mentally present in order to get past this Temple side.
These two met in Philadelphia earlier this year. Jared Rice gave SMU an early lead in about the 21st minute. We would see an equalizer from Temple before SMU would capture the full 3 points with a game winner from Citro in the 80th minute late. Temple in the white, SMU in the red. So, of course, the obvious absence in Mauro Citro. We'll see if anybody emerges in that midfield as SMU will work it through the center circle. Let's see if they get an opportunity here early on. Tapping it through, and we've got a foul, and here is a great chance for SMU from 25 yards out. Looking to land the opening blow here in this semifinal tonight.
That was Emil Cuello drawing the foul there at the edge of the box. Takes a nice touch, gets past his defenders. Defender blocks him off, and that's number 5, Darius Torsen. Gives up a dangerous free kick here for SMU. And again, as we said, talent all across the board. Doesn't matter who's on that free kick. They're able to put the ball on frame. We'll see what they can do with this one.
Rice Clark hovering over the ball along with Cuello. Just 2 minutes into the opening half, and the Mustangs threatening to land a early blow. And Michael Samnick back in frame. Cuello's left boot drives it home. Mustangs strike him just the 3rd minute.
What did I say? So much talent in this side. Cuello drawing the foul, being dangerous, getting forward early, and gets on the free kick, sticks it in the back of the net. with aplomb. Just an unbelievable free kick. Quaisho coming up big for his SMU Mustangs.
First goal on the year for the junior out of Orem, Utah. And Emil Quaisho, a beautiful stroke of that left foot.
Wonderful left-footed strike into the upper 90. And oh yeah, he's excited, kissing that badge. Going straight over to his teammates. You see what kind of togetherness they have in this team.
Let's check in with Haley. Obviously an ideal start, despite SMU missing one of their big pieces.
Yeah, and that was exactly what Coach Hudson referred to when I talked to him in the pregame, was focusing on those set pieces and anticipating those Temple fouls. But in terms of doing their best to not replace but fill the void of senior Mauro Citro, they're looking to number 4, the senior Garrett Welch tonight. He started his freshman year, but then has played as a reserve the past 2 seasons. Only started 1 game this year, but they feel confident. He's sort of been that senior in waiting, so they're confident that he can do the job tonight.
Yeah, Welch is a young man, 2nd generation college soccer player. Both parents played for the Aggies in College Station, Texas. He grew up with some international experience as well, as Welch played in Bolivia, El Salvador, Mexico. You know, in college sports, oftentimes we talk about growing pains for freshmen, but the sport of soccer, often these are experienced club players who have traveled around and already seen some of the top talent around the world.
Well, definitely, you know, the DFW Metroplex is just stacked with talent all across the youth board. These players are coming into college and sometimes going straight into the pros, having played with very good club teams, playing in huge tournaments like the Dallas Cup, and also going over to Europe and playing internationally as well. So this SMU side gets their pickings from that talent here in this area, and that's why you've seen such a talented squad consistently for the SMU Mustangs.
Goal kick for Michael Samnick. Certainly did not envy the sophomore goalkeeper out of Atlanta, and he was back on that line facing the free kick. A tough challenge for him to keep that ball out, unable to do so. Al's just now looking for the early response. Well, Lozolo will throw it in, the first team all-conference senior out of Le Mans, France.
Not dealt with here.
Looking for insurance, and a yellow will rise just outside the 18.
Darcy Torsen has had a horrible first 5 minutes so far. Gave away the free kick around the box on the goal, and just gets beat. Doesn't deal with that bouncing ball. Should have just cleared it out first time, but instead draws the player from behind, fouls him, and gives away another dangerous free kick around the area.
Thorsen out of Iceland stepped in for a banged-up Brendan Creed earlier this year. Has filled that role on the back line. Jared McLaughlin, the first team all-conference striker, was the man who went down for SMU. Quaisho's goal has SMU up. He landed that kick from outside the 18 in the first 3 minutes. Meanwhile, one of our 2 favorite soccer aerosol cans already put to use in this one. Bryce Clark on it. Clark back post, numbers send it forward, and the Mustangs have insurance. Jordan Cano, your defensive player of the year in the American, with the offensive touch.
Love to see this from his teammates. Jordan Cano with a beautiful finish inside the 6-yard box. And first of all, it was a wonderful free kick from Bryce Clark inside the 6-yard box. Diving header, shows great commitment to get on the end of that one. Sticks in the back of the net. And it's 2-0 already to the Mustangs. Look at that commitment, not afraid to go in with his head. That's what you want to see from a team in the semifinals of the conference tournament.
And for Cano, it's his first goal on the year. Of course, he's from Frisco, just north of here. That's where FC Dallas plays its ball, and will soon be home of the National Soccer Hall of Fame. You talk about SMU and a lot of teams in the area not needing to leave the Dallas region to find their talent. When American teams come here to play, it's also a nice recruiting trip as well. The Mustangs delighting the fans in the opening 5 minutes to a pair of goals on free kicks on the perimeter of the 18.
We're going to see what kind of character this Temple team has going down 2-0 earlier on in this matchup.
Oh, by the way, they have spotted your goalkeeper of the year in the American, Michael Nelson, a 2-goal advantage. He is working on 6 straight shutouts with that back line of the Mustangs. Not allowed a goal since Temple drove one home in Philadelphia back on October 7th. And you don't envy, again, the situations Michael Samnick has been in.
And Samnick being really left out to dry by his defense, specifically by Sigthorsson. Just rushes of blood to the head, not staying composed. Letting the ball bounce in this latest goal, not dealing with it.
SMU with just 2 losses on the year, 1 in conference play, none of which occurred here on this pitch. They were 10 for 10 in capturing victories here at Westcott Field this year.
Foul, Temple.
They would just soon go 12 for 12. Mustangs program that has produced 18 conference championships over the years in various leagues. It's found a home here in the American.
And SMU getting the big bodies forward from defense. They're going to put in a dangerous ball here if they can.
From just inside 50. And it'll clear the inline. SMU wants a corner. It'll be a goal kick.
That free kick just going over everybody, unfortunately, but
Samnick had just allowed 9 goals through 10 matches. As Kevin Hudson looks on, his Mustangs out to a 2-goal advantage.
doesn't look as excited as you think, being 2-0 up in a semifinal.
Those only 2 losses for SMU this year. We mentioned at Tulsa to open conference play. They, after that, went 5-0-1. Their other loss was the #1 team in the country, Stanford, back in September. SMU has spent most of the season ranked in the top 25. Ranked 11th by the coaches this week. As high as 7 in other polls. As a throw from Eddie Munjuma.
Nice flick on. Good defense from Sigthorsson.
So the first 5 minutes yields 2 goals for SMU. An uphill battle the rest of the way here for Temple on the road.
Thibaut Candia trying to show off his skills and get something going for Temple.
And they will continue to progress forward.
Foul, SMU.
Lazzolo will handle this. Again, first team all-conference midfielder, the senior from France, transfer from Hawaii Pacific University. 2 goals, 3 assists on this year for Divin. Lazzolo, top of the 18. Mustangs are there.
Not good enough. It's unfortunate because that could have been a good opportunity for Temple.
To the top of the 18, but no closer. Oh, looked like an unfortunate step. It'll be a foul on SMU. Now let's see what Temple can do here from about 30 yards out.
Zolo might have another opportunity to redeem himself. Although it looks like Albert Moreno might take this one. We're going to see it here. Just leaves a foot out there, an obvious trip.
Top left 90, punched out by your goalkeeper of the year, Nelson.
That was a much better ball there by Albert Moreno. But again, dealt with well by the keeper.
Moreno, the sophomore from Spain. Al's trying to make this just a lone goal affair. Got the deficit in half. They'll never get a shot off.
It was a great last-ditch effort there. Good defensive play.
1 Mustang among 4 Owls, and the numbers game will pan out in favor of Temple. Temple this year had outscored its opponents 12-5 in the first half. SMU has only conceded 2 first-half goals this year. Among a sea of red shirts. Soto. SMU players have a calmness about them. With that said, I recognize there is a Mustang going full speed ahead in Munjoma.
Calmness is right. They look so comfortable in possession.
From distance, 30 to the back post, and well marked by the Owls on the back line to deny that opportunity, as Lozolo able to frustrate McLaughlin on this chance.
Lozolo doing just enough to put McLaughlin off the ball. That's decent defending. Did a good job of tracking his runner.
That was a pat on the back, right?
That's what it looked like.
McLaughlin, the former Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year back in 2015, coming out of Heritage Hall, where he was a two-time state champion in OKC. McLaughlin had that game winner against UConn on Saturday. The reason why we are here tonight instead of Storrs, Connecticut. Technically, SMU just needed a draw that evening after the results earlier in the evening confirmed that USF would not climb to the top spot. And by the end of the night, USF would learn that they would be left out. Temple claimed the final spot. UCF shot all the way up to the second seed.
Soto really trying to make something happen here for his team, and shows a little bit of frustration at that ball that goes out of play.
We talk about what Temple has been up against this year. Two-year starting goalkeeper Alex Cagle has only played in a few games, currently with some lingering symptoms from an injury earlier this year. So Samnick has stepped in to start now the last 11 for the Owls. Come through with 7 wins during that run and 3 shutouts. And looking to pull within 1. That one simply along the pitch through some Mustangs, but would only get within about 17 yards.
Nice patient play there from the Mustangs.
Both goals for the Mustangs came in the first 5 minutes, including the go-ahead goal in the first seconds of the 3rd minute here tonight. Both goals the first for the respective scores here on the season.
Temple just look a bit frantic when they're in defense here, sort of panicking, making last-ditch tackles. Really don't look comfortable when SMU are running at them.
Munjoma has a way of slipping it into gear quickly and exciting the slightly partial crowd here in attendance. Not quite 15 minutes in to our second semifinal of the evening. Winner will get UCF, the Knights. Calabrese, their first-year head coach, guiding them to the final match of the weekend on Sunday. That'll be 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 Eastern, over on ESPNU. And a foul against the Mustangs.
Doesn't look like much there. Just looked like some physical play there from Talon Maples.
As Quayshow getting tangled up this time with Alan Camacho Soto. On this ball again, they go to Lozolo. Back to Diven. Lozolo trying to bend one to the top of the 6. Mustangs unable to clear it, and that one's punched wide. Corner kick coming up for the Owls, but your goalkeeper of the year, Nelson, just able to do enough with that 6'4" frame to keep it out.
Well, that was an unbelievable save from Nelson there, and actually a great shot on goal by Jokinen.
Your 3-time conference goalkeeper of the year, the exception last season.
We're going to see it here, Jokinen with a beautiful shot right into the corner, but another just great save by Michael Nelson. He's such a reliable goalkeeper.
Mustangs not in the clear. Temple with the first touch. And just into the masses Top left 90, it'll clear the crossbar easily. And SMU has survived.
Soto with some nice close control on top of the 18 there with a few Mustangs around him, still able to get a shot off. Fortunately, it goes over the crossbar.
Nelson's just allowed 9 goals through a little over 16 matches this year. Save percentage of 83% with 9 shutouts to his name. Last time SMU conceded multiple goals was again that loss to Stanford in September. They did it twice, the opener against UC Davis as well, in a 3-2 victory. That's the task for Temple if they want to have a chance. Both of SMU's goals coming after fouls along the perimeter of the 18. Unjoma.
Clear foul there.
Deja vu. Mustangs will have another bite at the apple within 20.
Joma, such a talented player coming from that left back position, not afraid to get forward. So we're going to see here some nice Lincoln play with his teammates. And a last-ditch effort there from Jokinen. Gives up a foul in a very similar position to the first goal. We'll see if Quaisho gets another shot on.
And you'll have Clark and Quaisho among those around the ball. Well, SMU, last time they scored 3 goals or more was a 6th spot against Northeastern in non-conference play mid-October. Never scored more than 2 in conference play. Clark will give it a chance. Well wide.
Looks like it was deflected and it's going to be a corner kick. It looks like Bryce Clark will be on corner kick duty as well.
Clark will jog to the corner after this offering.
That was a stiff shot, and it looks like Soto gets his chest on it. Eventually does go out for a corner.
Clark with 3 assists this year. Led the team with 4 assists a year ago. Now 16 for his career, the senior from Los Gatos, California.
SMU corner kick, 22, Clark.
Temperature in the mid-50s here at home for the Mustangs. And a foul on SMU on the try. And that will allow Temple to take a breath. Well, again, Temple is going to need to find multiple goals tonight. They were able to do so last against Tulsa. For more on their offensive opportunities, perhaps, let's check in with Haley.
Well, head coach David McWilliams knew that this year was going to be a bit of a struggle offensively, replacing Jorge Gomez Sanchez, a dynamic key player for Temple last year. And he knew one player probably couldn't get the job done, so it's taken the teamwork of a couple underclassmen, sophomore Thibaut Candia, who Coach Mac Williams will describe as skillful, great at taking people on 1v1, goes at defenders, and also freshman Alan Camacho Soda, who wasn't playing much earlier in the season, struggled in the preseason, but the coaches had a couple conversations with him, and since then he's been a key contributor, really coming along nicely in his freshman season.
Thank you very much, Haley. As we know, it's not easy for her, a former defender, to spend that much time focusing on offense.
I can relate.
Yeah. But 2-0 Mustangs out on top. Some fouls early leading to goals. Again, it's a Mustangs team without the midfielder of the year, a former offensive player of the year in Cicero tonight. Not suited up. Owls looking for an opportunity to take advantage of. And that opportunity will eclipse the end line.
Moreno trying to just chip the ball up there to Jokinen, but didn't have a deft enough touch. That was Talon Maples you just saw on your screen there. Very physical defender, very sheer-footed.
Talk about Temple trying different things. They have switched between a 4-2-3-1, a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2. Just looking for something that'll click. Right now the Mustangs pushing forward, not content with simply a 2-goal lead. reality, plenty of time for Temple, obviously. A full half remaining, not even midway through this opening half. Just a couple of unfortunate circumstances setting up SMU in some prime real estate on free kicks.
It's really just been a factor of Temple not really being there mentally, just making some serious mental mistakes, and you know, SMU just made them pay.
Well, they gave them a lot of space up there at the top of the 18 to work with, but Samnick will be able to make the stop.
There was Garrett Welch coming in from the midfield, making a nice late run.
Glad to have you with us on this Friday evening here on the American Digital Network. Still 24 and a half to go here in the opening half. Haley will have a chance to talk to the coaches going in and out of the locker room at halftime.
This is not what I want to see from Temple, just really sitting back, happy to let SMU have the ball. The longer SMU have the ball, the better they're going to be able to break this Temple side down. They've already done it on multiple occasions. Temple need to really push the tempo and try to regain possession back and really put SMU under pressure. Seeing them here push forward a little bit more, which is what I want to see. They really need a challenge. Look how long Talon Maples has on the ball.
Probably time I reminded fans that this Mustangs group that went 5-1-1 in conference was picked preseason 5th to miss this tournament. Of course, here they are hosting it. Of course, the tournament without a familiar face in the form of Tulsa. The last 3 years, Golden Hurricane able to lift the trophy, each time playing to a draw, but ultimately finding success in the shootout rounds each of those 3 runs. And the automatic bid that would go with it to the NCAA tournament. Not this year for the Golden Hurricane. Time for a new champion in 2017. You know, UCF is in that final match on Sunday. Knights will face one of these two. A little tap from Moreno. Back up ahead to, again, Folo Lozolo. And he'll run out of space. A goal kick coming up.
That's just good defending there again from Talon Maples, as we said before, a physical defender. But even if Luzolo had gotten across off, there was really no options in front of goal there. Not enough people in the box for him.
Michael Nelson played all but 15 minutes this year between the pipes. Grant McKella took advantage of those 15 minutes, the sophomore from Destin, Florida, earlier this year. But for the Mustangs, we're talking about a 2-goal performance by the offense already, but they're anchored by your defensive player of the year and your goalkeeper of the year in this league. They're without their midfielder of the year, but they've been able to make do.
So far, Garrett Welch has done a great job at just sitting in front of that back line, being that little destroyer, winning the ball back in possession and spraying the ball wide, trying to get the ball pushed forward into attack.
Corner kick for SMU. A little over midway through now in this opening half. And Quaisho will again handle this with his left foot. 4 assists this year for Emil, the junior. Sends it in. And this will simply be a throw defensively for Temple.
It actually wasn't a bad delivery, just no one made a back post run. Every single delivery on every set piece so far from SMU has been quality.
I think the Mustangs just assumed that would be a goal kick coming up, so they dropped numbers back towards midfield. SMU finally started to come back to apply some pressure here on the back line. Here, head coach David McWilliams.
He's telling them the right thing. They're trying to get Albert Moreno to push in so Luzolo can find more space down this right-hand side.
Oh, a nice turn right up the middle of the spine. No urgency for the Mustangs.
they're not the ones that need to be pushing the pace right now. They're 2 goals up. They've shown that they can break this Temple side down.
Now looking for the connection on the back post, but it got away.
Joma there in the back stick.
1v1 on the wing. Joma sends one to the far scoreboard.
You see how confident as he is getting forward into attack, and as he is, you know, taking his defenders one-on-one.
Remember,
we're going to see here a couple step overs, create some space for himself, tries to get a shot on goal, it looks like. He airmails that one.
Eddie Munjoma came through the FC Dallas system, a former member of the U.S. U19 national team domestic training roster. Now, his club was Lone Star Soccer Club, which features 3 of his club teammates on this SMU roster. That's some instant chemistry once you're out there together for the first time, all suited up as Mustangs.
Lone Star, one of the best clubs in the state of Texas. Again, when you have a kid that comes to the FC Dallas system, you know, you can really see the quality that he has on the field. He's got a perfect first touch every single time. It's nice and crisp. Doesn't let the ball get too far away from his feet. He's a quality player down this left-hand side.
Talon Maples, the freshman, with the touch on the back line. As we recall, it's still a shutout being put together by these defensive Mustangs. Maples on the all-rookie team in the conference as announced this week. And this one's back over to SMU. Talon Maples, a freshman from Leander, Texas. That's just north of Austin, down I-35, a few hours from here. The Owls would do themselves a great service, obviously, if they can find a goal, make this a lot more manageable going into halftime. SMU's not interested in that storyline. From outside the 18, again, Mustangs send it right back out.
Speaking of Talon Maples, again, he's done a great job of shutting down the tricky Soto. He's been matched up and almost man-marking him this entire match, and you see him on there again. Does a great job of just not letting Soto turn, keeping pressure on the attacker.
Maples, as a true freshman on that back line, mind you, one of the best defenses in the league, has made every start since day one.
Well, he's just been incredible, you know, just extremely confident for an 18, 19-year-old.
This will stay with SMU, progressing forward. McLaughlin will drop it on the near touchline. Last year's Rookie of the Year as a freshman, back as the veteran sophomore. Quayshaw. Joma, send it back over to Temple.
Tracking back.
Welch in the midfield.
Again, Welch just being that destroyer, playing in that number 6 role.
Oh, Quayshaw got a nice little nudge from behind. Owls still with a chance, top of the 18. Will put one towards frame, it's denied. A diving stop by Nelson, everybody off by just a half step. And concern now for the Owl that is down, as you're looking at Jonas Jokinen, the senior from Helsinki, Finland.
That last shot was a lot closer than what it looked like. Nelson forcing to save. It's a nice link-up play there between Candia and Jokinen. It was a tough challenge that came into. We're going to see here again. Candia with a little flick ball in with the outside of the foot. Jokinen driving in. Oh, and you see his knee hyperextend there. That wasn't pretty.
And Jokinen, again, still down, as you saw that boot on his right foot get caught in the turf. About 12 yards away from frame.
And that's an injury that's so familiar to so many athletes, including myself. It just doesn't feel good. It's so uncomfortable.
SMU leads 2-0 here after almost a half hour of play. Both goals came in the opening 5 minutes. Mustangs, your number 1 seed, looking to collide with the number 2 seed UCF Knights on Sunday for the championship.
And SMU, I wanted to do something that had a direct influence.
I just want to do what people did for me, which is to provide me a seat at the table.
Everyone has limitations, and everyone has the ability to overcome those limitations.
Without that simple experience, we wouldn't have a blueprint to run the company.
We've done 136 cleanups across 22 U.S. states.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can help people that are ill.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be me.
My mom actually never finished elementary school. Because my mother was a refugee, she didn't speak English when she arrived to this country. And she had told me when I was in high school, you need to get a degree for the both of us. In my 4 years at SMU, I've been able to accomplish 3 degrees. I've gone from Iraq to DC to Dallas. And I've been able to work with refugees, work with inmates, and also manage a political campaign. The collaborative environment here at SMU really provides a ton of opportunities for students. I'm Kovan Barzani. World changers are shaped here.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Well, again, right now, the concern for Eunice Jokinen, the senior for the Owls, who had a tough go there in the 18. It's a good sign, at least, that he's able to put weight on both legs. As he comes off, they will sub in for him with Justin Hahn, who will make his 16th appearance. Freshman out of Bethesda, Maryland. And again, a rough start for the Owls in general. SMU found their first goal in the 3rd minute, would add insurance within 2 minutes later. And as a result, Mustangs here on their home pitch as the #1 seed. They're favorites to move forward into Sunday's final. The Owls looking to redirect the course of that storyline.
Such a bummer there for Eunice Jokinen. Coming off the pitch, also having going 2-0 down for his team. He'll want to be out on the field trying to get the goal back.
Back underway. Owls looking to cut the deficit in half. As going down to both knees. Nelson able to intervene again.
It was good from Albert Moreno to be there back post. He does get a head on it, but it goes right to the keeper. Not enough pace behind that header.
And Nelson was your goalkeeper of the year as a freshman, a sophomore. And claiming it this year for a 3rd and final time. Back to the top of the 18, able to turn, slip it through the legs, but nothing more. As the shot coming off the right foot of Alan Camacho Soto, the 2nd-team all-conference striker.
It's the 3rd or 4th time that Candia has done a good job of creating space for himself and getting the ball to Soto. Soto doing a good job of just taking one touch and getting a shot off.
They'll throw it in. Back on it, Hahn. It'll be a corner kick coming up for Temple. And Alan Camacho Soto really elevated his game this year. Became a starter in September against Duquesne. On his first goal within the first 3 minutes against Penn State in a 3-0 win. Has become the #2 scorer for the Owls. Corner from Divin Fuller-Lazzolo. Slips all the way through the 18. On the ball is Durner. Opportunity still live for the Owls. Where the Mustangs have scored it out in touch. SMU at the next whistle will bring on 2nd-team all-conference Jared Rice. Nice luxury they have in the senior from here in the Dallas area, a 4-year starter. And Temple trying to crack statistically the best defense in the league. And find multiple goals before the end of the night. They'll swing it around from 30 yards out. Looking for that back post. It'll bend wide. And off the frame is where Michael Nelson will find that ball in midair.
Zola made the right decision in taking that cross in first touch, but it's got to be a much flatter ball with a much more pace behind it. That was a lofty cross, and it was easy pickings from Nelson.
With all the talent in Dallas, SMU found Michael Nelson in the booming Houston area on the west side in Katy, Texas, where he went to Seven Lakes High School. They've had some success in a fairly short amount of time. And a foul on SMU will give this to Temple by the logo.
Well, Houston and Dallas are really the hotbeds of Texas in terms of talent. We're going to see here the foul on Moreno. It was Nicky Hernandez, it looks like, that fouled him. As you said before, you know, Houston and Dallas just huge hotbeds for talent here in the state of Texas. A lot of players from those areas going D1.
And a foul back at midfield. And we have a stoppage of the clock.
You can see players from the DFW area like Weston McKinney. Some of you may know him as a Schalke midfielder, starting week in, week out there in the Bundesliga as a young kid, just getting his first call-up to the U.S. men's national team. It really just speaks to the level of talent that is in the state.
So the foul on Temple. Mustangs, the benefit of a 2-goal advantage for much of this match. Over the top. No easy touches for Temple. Good burst of speed. Inside at 25, along the perimeter, out on that wing. Ball sent in. And with nobody to play with, Michael Nelson will go up and snag that ball with ease. Of course, the story tonight coming into the match was the injury of Cichero for SMU, how they would replace that hole in their lineup. Right now it's the Owls with a hole in their lineup as Mustangs applying some pressure, but Owls in the clear. Let's check back in with Haley.
Yeah, guys, just a quick update on Eunice Jokinen. Saw the trainer cut some tape off of that right knee, seemed to be kind of feeling around, working on it, but he's walking back and forth up and down the sideline, so seems like he might be starting to feel a little bit better. We'll see if he starts jogging and potentially could come back in the game maybe in a couple minutes.
As you see him working out on that touch line. Jared Rice will come on, as will Christian Borum. For SMU, they're among 3 Mustangs to come on.
Where it's Garrett Welch, Nicky Hernandez, and Quayshow, excuse me, coming off for SMU. So Jared Rice will sit in that number 6 role, fill the spot from Garrett Welch. SMU making some changes, another position in midfield and as well as at forward.
And SMU will go back to its bench for Dwight Williams Jr., a sophomore from Dallas, at the next opportunity. There's another young man who's been a part of the U.S. youth system at the U15 and U17 levels. And another foul against Temple, and it brings out a yellow, as it's awarded again to the freshman defender from Iceland.
You got to say that red card's been coming. Sigthorsson not having a great game. He gets his 2nd yellow, and he's sent off from this matchup.
Well, he had 4 yellows during the year. Gets his 2nd of this match. So the cumulative red means Temple will not only be down by 2, but they'll also be un hombre menos.
You got to say that's a deserved one. He takes a bad touch. He's under pressure. If he would have just fallen over, and he would have drawn a foul from SMU, but instead he decides to wrap up, take the SMU Mustang down. He draws the 2nd yellow.
All right, Sigthorsson out. All sent into the 18. And Temple now will make a separate substitution. Mind you, they don't get to replace Sigthorsson. Zach Brown comes on.
Substitution number 6.
Sigthorsson making that walk of shame. Such a bummer for the young kid.
And all of a sudden, 56 minutes, down a man, down 2 goals.
SMU substitution 31, DJ.
You don't want to ask it, but can it get much worse?
Dwight Williams Jr. did also come on for the Mustangs. How will the Owls respond? Devin Fololazolo, first team all conference. Inside of 30. As 9:28 remaining here in this opening half. And Mustangs have had the 2-goal lead since the opening 5 minutes. A couple of fouls around the perimeter of the box set up free kicks. Mustangs made no mistake. Quaisho at the moment on track for your game winner with his first goal of the year.
Good play in the midfield there to win back possession.
Again, with no pressure, SMU is more than happy to demonstrate their willingness to share among other players wearing red kits.
They switch up the positioning a little bit. Bryce Clark has slipped into defensive midfield role. It's Jared Rice that goes into left back. When Jumbo goes out to right back.
Joma Ole. And it's a foul on Temple. That'll keep the ball on this end with SMU. There's another Temple player down, though, on the opposite end of midfield across the way.
It's Justin Hahn. Players calling the medical staff onto the field.
And Hahn, the freshman out of Maryland, to Walter Johnson High School. Albert Moreno for Temple, talking things over with the opposition. And looking on David McWilliams again in his 18th year at the helm of Temple. This was a Temple team that only conceded 5 first-half goals before tonight. Owls had won 4 of their last 5 matches to rocket into the 4 seed here this week, including a dramatic win over USF that not only knocked the Bulls out of contention for a title, it would also knock USF out of the top 4. So again, we step aside here in Dallas. Mustangs hanging on to a 2-goal lead with 8:10 still to play here in the opening half.
I knew I wanted to do something that had a direct influence.
I just want to do what people did for me, which is to provide me a seat at the table.
Everyone has limitations, and everyone has the ability to overcome those limitations.
Without that Temple experience, we wouldn't have a blueprint to run the company.
We've done 136 cleanups across 22 U.S. states.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can help people that are ill.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be me.
My mom actually never finished elementary school. Because my mother was a refugee, she didn't speak English when she arrived to this country. And she had told me when I was in high school, you need to get a degree for the both of us. In my 4 years at SMU, I've been able to accomplish 3 degrees. I've gone from Iraq to DC to Dallas. And I've been able to work with refugees, work with inmates, and also manage a political campaign. The collaborative environment here at SMU really provides a ton of opportunities for students. I'm Kovan Barzani. World changers are shaped here.
Back at Westcott Field, where the average fan doesn't mind that the Ponies are up 2-0. As SMU won the right to host this week by virtue of claiming the regular season crown on Saturday against UConn. in what was, well, not scheduled to be a championship match necessarily between two of the powerhouses over the years in this league. De facto championship, as the Owls not only down a man for the match, playing 11 v 10 after a pair of yellows sent Sigthorsson off. Here's the bracket for you, as UCF officially a 1-0 final against UConn. And UCF will await the winner of this match. They also have the benefit of essentially scouting out this match. Often the top seed would play in an earlier match in a field like this, so that if you win, you have the benefit of watching the next match unfold. But with SMU, you're on your home campus, and you figure you give the chance for the students to get out of class and come out and improve your strength there in a true home field advantage. Now, we'll also mention there's a men's basketball game just across the street tonight, women earlier today. This is one of 2 soccer matches here at Westcott Field. A busy day here on the SMU campus. So the Owls again playing down a man after a first half red card. And down 2 goals, both coming in the opening 5 minutes. SMU will have a throw in the offensive third.
This match has been a sort of story of worst case scenario after worst case scenario with the Temple Owls. Conceded in the first 5 minutes. They have a key player get a red card, another key player go down injured, and Justin Hahn, another important player for them, going off injured, being carted off. You never like to see something like that.
Jonas Jokinen was the first injured Owl. He's still on the sideline at least. Oh, a deep lob to that near post, where it's going to be squeezed in by Samnick.
Well, that was a bullet of a throw-in from Bryce Clark, and actually kind of surprised me. Usually they're long throw-ins, but they're more looping types of throw-ins, but that was a dart.
This is where they hold track and field events. Owls will go to their bench again in a moment for Jordan Wicks-Raw.
Really seeing SMU tonight really rise to the occasion. Not letting Temple breathe at any moment when they're in possession.
Yeah, they've done themselves a great service in what would be a Friday-Sunday turnaround. Owls will still have a full half coming out of the locker room. Try to initiate a plan. And here comes that most recent sub for Coach McWilliams.
It's Thibaut Candia coming off. Not a lot of supply up there for him today. He's had a couple decent opportunities to try to create something with Soto. They do have a bit of chemistry, but just nothing coming off of the Owls so far today.
And Candia, second team all-conference forward this year, over 1,000 minutes, 6 goals and an assist to his name. If it looks like there's more red shirts out there, it's because there are. Well spaced. No easy running room. Moreno on the ball right now will tap it back.
With one fewer player for Temple, their movement off the ball has to be a lot quicker. Their passing has to be that much more sharp. They can't hold the ball for too long because SMU are just going to swarm.
Jared Rice has it stripped away by Moreno. And there's where SMU's numbers add up. Njoma out on the wing, looking for some red kits to play with, and it'll be deflected wide. A corner kick coming up for the Mustangs. Still applying pressure here in the final 5 minutes of the first half.
Any side Munjoma is on, it's going to be dangerous, and he almost gets on the end of this one, if not for a vital interception by one of the Owls there. Looked like the substitute, Wicks-Raw.
DJ Williams able to send it in there. Corner kick coming up for Jared Rice. 5 assists this year. Had 18 assists in his first 2 seasons alone. Made quite the splash here in Dallas. The left footer with about 4 minutes to go in the first half. with this corner. Top of the 6. And a left-footed delivery. Well beyond that far post, aiming for the top right 90 was Bryce Clark.
Bryce Clark just having the ball fall straight to his feet. Takes a decent first touch and just fires it with his left foot.
See Moody Coliseum off in the distance, where some fans lingering during the men's basketball game. And again, more time that the Mustangs spend possessing. This time Temple has to try to cut into this 2-goal deficit. Shot well off the mark.
Jared Rice trying to cross the ball with his left foot, just couldn't get his hips around, curl his foot around the ball to get the ball into the box.
SMU not just the #1 seed, their coaching staff as a whole, as the American addresses it, not coach of the year, but coaching staff of the year, from top to bottom for SMU. Mustangs' only loss to an American team this year was in overtime in Tulsa in the conference opener. It was a scoreless match through 90. They were vulnerable on Tulsa's home turf to a corner kick. And I then saw the next week a great Tulsa team against a great UConn team. But if you and I had picked the 4 teams at that time that we thought we would see in the semifinals, at best we may have been 50% right.
Again, I keep saying it, it speaks to the competitive nature of this league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
Tulsa, your 3-time, they were defending champions. No chance to defend it here this week in this tournament. Owls putting something together within 25.
Good tracking back there from Njoma. Good defensive play.
And that was Moreno leading the way for Temple. Now the ball with Sullivan, the senior from Philly. Final 90 seconds here of this first half. Owls trailing by a pair of goals, coming on free kicks for SMU. From 40. Looking for the deflection on frame. It's over the crossbar.
No excuse there for SMU defense to let that Temple Owl get on the end of that one. It was a decent cross in there. It was actually a quite nice cross. Somehow, Herman Dorner gets on the end of that one. Unfortunately for him, it just goes over the crossbar. But really, like I said before, just Dorner finding some space in between the 2 center backs of SMU. They have to be winning that header from that kind of cross.
Dorner, the junior out of Germany, looking for what would have been his 3rd goal on the year. And SMU will be content with watching that final minute melt away here at Westcott Field. So SMU on Saturday captured the #1 seed at the expense of UConn. UConn earlier today eliminated by UCF. The final score of that officially 1-0. The Knights await the winner of this evening. Imagine coaches on hand scouting it out. Some players maybe back at the hotel watching the stream while catching a post-game meal. Final 7 seconds of an eventful first 45 minutes. Thanks to an eventful opening 5 minutes of play when SMU found the 2 goals so far tonight. As Haley will have a chance to catch up with the head coach of the #1 seed, a former Mustang player in his own right, now leading this program for a 3rd straight year with Kevin Hudson.
Hey, Coach, so before the game, one of the focuses was on set pieces, and your guys finished 2 pretty impressive ones there in the first 5 minutes. Could you have drawn those up any better yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you score 2 set plays in the first 5 minutes. I mean, it leads to a good half, you know, but we're still not generating enough chances, and we haven't been able to break it down as well as I wanted to. But yeah, we're happy at 2-0 for sure.
Up a man rather, and up 2 goals. How does that impact your strategy moving into the second half, knowing that you hopefully will also be playing a game on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it's not over. I mean, it's 2-0 up, you're up a man, but we still need to do a better job putting this game to bed, and then, you know, once we score another goal, we can think about those things, but at this point, it's, you know, business as usual and trying to see the game out.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you very much, Haley. Again, the Mustangs aren't yet thinking about Sunday, at least not officially. And while they may not have generated any opportunities as of late to the liking of their head coach, they aren't conceding looks from the Owls. We have reached halftime in our second semifinal of the night here in the American. The SMU men are up 2-0 over Temple as we've reached halftime in Dallas.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
And you wanted to do something that had a direct influence.
I just want to do what people did for me, which is to provide me a seat at the table.
Everyone has limitations, and everyone has the ability to overcome those limitations.
Without that Temple experience, we wouldn't have a blueprint to run the company.
We've done 136 cleanups across 22 U.S. states.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can help people that are ill.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be me.
For Jonas Jokinen, moving to a new country was nothing new.
So luckily I'm very international. I've lived in, this is my 5th country now. And so I'm kind of used to that big jump, going to a new place.
The senior from Finland found his home at Temple back in 2014 and never looked back.
It's very easy when you come and you have a team like this. You have 30 other guys who love the same things you do, so it's easy to make a connection and, you know, make new friends.
Jokinen scored the game-winning goal against USF, which kicked off the road to the postseason. Their trip to the AAC semifinals is a cherry on top of his strong senior season.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some young players, some guys in their last year, everyone's stepping up, so, I mean, we're ready to give everything we have.
And I think, you know, we feel pretty confident this year. I think we didn't start off the season the way we wanted to, but I think we're hitting a stride right now. And
his leadership on the field and pure ability have been evident throughout his Temple career. This season he needed to step up, and last season made the second team all-conference.
Jonas is tremendous. He sees the field. His off-the-ball movement has to be one of the best I've seen. He reads the game. He understands the game. Tactically, he's right on, and technically, he's very good.
They look to me as a bit of an anchor, you know. I've been moving around, playing different positions, so I'm just looking to help the team.
But he too still looks up to Alex Cagle and Mark Grisella, 2 fifth-year seniors.
You know, they know the works here. They've been here for a long time, so, you know, I still look up to them as a lot of these underclassmen look up to me.
In addition to his excellence on the field, Jokinen has been excelling in the classroom as well. He was the recipient of the American Scholar Athlete Sport Excellence Award this year, which goaltender Alex Cagle received last year.
It's a cliche, but everyone says, you know, you're a student before you are an athlete, so the fact that you can juggle both, and, you know, there's a huge time commitment to the sport, but then there's even more of a time commitment for, you know, academics, going to class and getting your work done. So coming over here, especially as an international student, into a completely new environment, you know, it means a lot that, you know, you get recognized.
You know, he's been a leader in both those areas for us, so, and I think he really pushes it. He sets those goals for himself academically, and he's done a great job for us.
No matter the individual awards and accolades, Jokinen is a team player through and through.
If the team's not performing, then it doesn't really mean as much, so the fact that the team's doing really well right now just makes it that much better.
For Campus Connect from Temple, I'm Alexa Ross.
My mom actually never finished elementary school. Because my mother was a refugee, she didn't speak English when she arrived to this country. And she had told me when I was in high school, you need to get a degree for the both of us. In my 4 years at SMU, I've been able to accomplish 3 degrees. I've gone from Iraq to DC to Dallas. And I've been able to work with refugees, work with inmates, and also manage a political campaign. The collaborative environment here at SMU really provides a ton of opportunities for students. I'm Kovan Barzani. World changers are shaped here.
And Mauro Cicero has the Mustangs' first goal of the season.
If the name Mauro Cicero sounds familiar, well, that's no coincidence. Cicero was named the American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year in 2015, and this year, he's back.
He's grown up a lot over the last 3 years. You know, he leads more by example than he does by vocal yelling and you know, those sorts of things.
His most notable performance so far? His hat trick in the season opener against UC Davis that led SMU to a 3-2 victory.
He got the PK, so it was tied 2-2, and then, you know, you just got to create one chance in the last 5 minutes, and then it just went in. So it was really good, you know, for me and the whole team to, you know, experience on your first game and start the season well.
He knows the performances he lays down will have a direct impact on where he ends up next year. So he came in very focused and prepared for the season, and, you know, it's showing off in the first 7 games.
So where did these skills come from? Well, soccer success is no secret to the Cicero family.
Imagine having 2 older brothers that have played professionally and a father that played professional soccer. So you could say that Mauro received a soccer ball around the same time that he got his pacifier.
Every weekend just spending on the couch with him and just watching soccer games, you know, kind of growing up like that and having him as an example of, you know, what he did in his life, and having my brothers as well, just kind of setting the bar. You know, it's awesome having him, you know, come down every game. You know, he drives, you know, 3 hours down, 3 hours back from Oklahoma to come just, you know, come watch me, and, you know, it kind of motivates me, you know, that someone cares so much about me. And, you know, sometimes I'll be playing bad and I can hear him, you know, say some bad words in Spanish, and I kind of shake my head. Sometimes he's a little loud, but that's good.
Last year as a junior, Mario struggled to see that same kind of success, scoring only 3 goals and 1 assist. But his senior season so far is showing that the off-season strengthened more than just his soccer skills.
Not just me being the leader. We have 8 other seniors that, you know, are playing a lot, and that helps, you know, and we don't have to just rely on one player to be the leader.
He's a guy that would rather show you what to do than have to yell at you.
With already 5 goals and 4 assists, and we're not even halfway through the season, you could say we have a lot to look forward to from Mauro.
We always look forward to playing Tulsa, and, you know, like, we always just want to especially knock them off, with them being our closest rivals.
For Campus Connect, this is SMU's Emma Kate View.
I knew I wanted to do something that had a direct influence.
I just want to do what people did for me, which is to provide me a seat at the table.
Everyone has limitations, and everyone has the ability to overcome those limitations.
Without that Temple experience, we wouldn't have a blueprint to run the company.
We've done 136 cleanups across 22 U.S. states.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can help people that are ill.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be me.
My mom actually never finished elementary school. Because my mother was a refugee, she didn't speak English when she arrived to this country. And she had told me when I was in high school, you need to get a degree for the both of us. In my 4 years at SMU, I've been able to accomplish 3 degrees. I've gone from Iraq to DC to Dallas. And I've been able to work with refugees, work with inmates, and also manage a political campaign. The collaborative environment here at SMU really provides a ton of opportunities for students. I'm Kovan Barzani. World changers are shaped here.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Two goals in the opening 5 minutes, both off free kicks along the perimeter of the 18, have the Mustangs, your number 1 seed, out ahead of the 4 seed Temple Owls. We take a look back at those opening goals just seconds into the 3rd minute when Quayshow would get the Mustangs on the board, finding space in that top right 90 for Emil Quayshow, his first goal on the year for the Mustangs. Subsequent offering would ultimately render Jordan Cano your defensive player of the year for SMU with his first goal on the year. tally it up, and after 5 minutes of play, SMU would have a 2-goal lead. At halftime, they're up by 2 and also up a man as a pair of yellow cards add up to a red and have the Owls looking to play down a man in the second half and down a pair of goals here in Dallas.
And wanted to do something that had a direct influence.
I just want to do what people did for me, which is to provide me a seat at the table.
Everyone has limitations, and everyone has the ability to overcome those limitations.
Without that Temple experience, we wouldn't have a blueprint to run the company.
We've done 136 cleanups across 22 U.S. states.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can help people that are ill.
Without Temple, I wouldn't be me.
My mom actually never finished elementary school. Because my mother was a refugee, she didn't speak English when she arrived to this country. And she had told me when I was in high school, you need to get a degree for the both of us. In my 4 years at SMU, I've been able to accomplish 3 degrees. I've gone from Iraq to DC to Dallas. And I've been able to work with refugees, work with inmates, and also manage a political campaign. The collaborative environment here at SMU really provides a ton of opportunities for students. I'm Kovan Barzani. World changers are shaped here.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Welcome back. 2-0 SMU out on top of Temple. Lincoln Rose, Roland Garensway with you as Haley Outen will have a chance when the Owls emerge from the locker room of talking to Coach McWilliams. Again, SMU is your host by virtue of being the #1 seed here in the American for the men. They claimed that right to host, just this past Saturday night. It was very much in doubt heading into the weekend. SMU and UConn at the time, your top 2 teams in the table, separated by just 1 point to the favor of the Mustangs. But you also had USF in the hunt had they played to a draw, and if USF had captured 3 points earlier in the day. There were a lot of questions entering that final day, and we would have expected nothing less in a competitive league like the American.
Absolutely, and Temple really just snuck in and took that spot away from USF, and they really did earn it. So, but here in this matchup, they're down 2-0 and down a man, down a couple of key players to injury. So it's been a tough one so far for them. But for SMU, just everything going right for them, being dangerous going forward early on, getting 2 quick goals. I agree with their coach in saying that they should have created more offensive opportunities given the circumstances. So we'll see if they can correct that and really put this game to bed in the second half.
Look, if you're Temple, look at the box score. This has not been a dominating match in terms of producing shots on frame. Both teams even at 5 shots, each of them 3 on goal. The difference is, of course, SMU has had those 2 chances around the 18. Let's go ahead and check in down on the field with Haley.
Coach, tough first half for your group. A couple injuries, a couple goals, and a red card. What was your message to the team at halftime?
I think we just got to go. The next goal is the most important. We got to stop doing dumb things and keep the ball a little bit more, and get the ball in the box a little bit more.
How does your team kind of pick up the energy, pick up the tempo, knowing that they need a couple goals here in the second half?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We told them it wasn't going to be easy, but we got to battle through this, and the next goal is the most important. If we can get that next goal, then anything can happen.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Great, thanks.
We appreciate all the coaches taking the time to speak with us here throughout today's semifinals. UCF and Coach Calabrese await the winner of this matchup on Sunday in the championship final, 1 o'clock over on ESPNU. Again, you see Samnick, who was in that unenviable position of being on the goal line, a couple of free kicks taken around the 18, both of them getting past him in the opening 5 minutes. Again, if you want to look at stats, Temple should be encouraged. Numbers are almost dead even, except for the number of saves by the goalkeepers. Part of that is SMU hasn't had the burden of putting up a lot of shots as front runners here tonight.
Absolutely. They've put the ball in the back of the net, and Temple have not. You know, really the only real clear chance that they've had is when Jokinen had that nice shot on goal with that forced a very nice save from Nelson, and you've seen him, you know, come off the pitch injured. I talked to him during halftime very briefly to see if he was coming on. He kind of gave me the so-so look on whether or not he was going to play in the second half. He's going to be a key player for Temple for this matchup if he can get back on. But it really is, you know, to Coach McWilliams' point, you know, any and all things are possible in this game. That's part of what makes it so beautiful. So he's right. You know, the next goal that happens, it really will be the telling goal to see what happens at the end of this one.
Owls are down a man, but temperatures in the mid-50s. They just rested at halftime, and I have a feeling they'll be able to come out basically full speed and do their best to put that first goal on the board here and try to make this a bit more manageable. Obviously, SMU would love to put the punctuation on this, feeling if they can put a third goal home, that they will significantly improve those odds of punching their ticket officially to make it a 1 versus 2 seed matchup on Sunday.
For Temple, they really just have to throw caution to the wind, throw numbers forward, and try to get a goal back. They really have nothing to lose here.
We saw UConn likely see its season come to an end earlier tonight. Temple faces the same scenario, needing that automatic bid likely on Sunday. SMU had the luxury, a top 25 program throughout the year. Which along the 18, as SMU now attacking the opposite end of the pitch here in the second half. So you will see a team in SMU wearing the red, happy to possess, every now and then putting shots towards goal. Looking to turn. Temple back line able to intervene.
That was a good defensive play there. And that could have been a dangerous opportunity there if he got in touch and was able to turn his defender.
Throw comes from Fulla-Lazzolo. And Temple down a man. Run in space here from Sarver. And it's back over again to the SMU goalkeeper, Michael Nelson.
It's unfortunate because Sarver did a good job at taking his space.
Nelson had 3 saves in that first half, and there was that one precarious ball that he just was able to keep out of the goal.
That was a beautiful right-handed save. He gives his back line from SMU a lot of confidence.
What a confidence boost it would be if Temple could in fact cut this back within 1, coming back from down a man. Again, it's a Temple team that has found ways to win 4 of their last 5 matches. Now, none of those did they concede 2 goals. The last time they conceded 2 goals, well, it was to SMU in Philadelphia back on October 13th, falling 2-1. But not only is Temple playing down a man, but they have seen some players go down to injuries, including Eunice Jokinen. Let's check in with Haley to see if she has an update.
Yeah, guys, so I know we were uncertain if he would be returning in this half, but no confirmation, but it appears as if he might be. The trainer was just taping up his knee. He's now jogging up and down the sideline, so looks like he may try to get back into this game and help his team out.
Thank you very much. Again, Haley Outen down on the pitch. Lincoln Rose, Roland Garensway with you here on the American Digital Network. Dallas, Texas, the site this year of the American Men's Soccer Championship. We went into last weekend not knowing whether it'd be Texas, Connecticut, or Florida playing host. Of course, the women competed in the Sunshine State last weekend. That championship would be a draw going into the shootout, as the Owls will never get a shot off. Still on the ball, though, here at midfield.
Sarver in all kinds of space down this left-hand side. Temple in need of a big switch.
Chipped in from 30. And going up and squeezing it in at eyebrow level, Michael Nelson, the 6'4" keeper.
That was a decent cross in there from Lazzolo. You see it here. He makes a nice run down the right-hand side. And he's got to curl that ball a little bit further away from the keeper, as we see Justin Hahn here on the bench, another player that went down injured a little bit earlier in the first half.
Yeah, Hahn would ride off on a cart as the second owl to go down. Another quick left strike, and Nelson again able to field it no problem. Njoma. Well, it's the Owls again, down a man right now, who are spending some time on the offensive half of the pitch. Sullivan. Back to Matt Sullivan, again the senior out of Philadelphia. Nick Sarver, sophomore from York, Pennsylvania. And they'll have some space out wide.
It's been Temple so far playing with a much greater sense of urgency, as they should be, being down 2 goals. SMU not really executing Coach Hudson's game plan and trying to, create more offensive opportunities. They've really been sitting back lately, sort of letting Temple have the ball a little bit more often. Temple have, they've had their tails up, and they're really trying to make an impact on this game.
Well, we mentioned Kevin Hudson and his rich history with SMU, played for the men's team that went to the College Cup in 2000. Just the 4th head coach in SMU history. A longtime assistant, and that loyalty paid off 3 years ago when he was given the job as head coach, and in return, guiding SMU to a regular season championship this year. A corner kick for the Owls. Set pieces. Ultimately a chance to cut this deficit in half. Divin full of Lazzolo. 3 assists this year. Top of the 6, but Mustangs with that size.
It was a great cross in, as you said, with their size. They dealt with that cross well.
As the Owls will now retreat back to midfield. And I think our referee is going to stop the clock for a moment, concerned about some time wasting.
You see Eunice Jokinen sort of warming up on the sideline, trying to see how that knee feels. That hyperextension could not have felt very good.
And Eunice out of Helsinki, Finland. Scotland, France, Iceland, Germany, Canada. And let's see, we got Trinidad and the rest of these, United States. Oh, Spain as well, all represented on Temple's roster. SMU with an opportunity to find that 3rd goal. Top of the 18, great pass.
Got to be a bit more selfish there. Should have had a shot on goal.
As Nicky Hernandez now just trying to keep this opportunity alive. That's going to be a toss for Temple, and SMU is just looking for the perfect opportunity, and that shot would never come.
That's unfortunate there. They were on a quick counterattack. When Joma had the ball in the box, should have been, as I said, much more selfish and had a crack on goal. Sometimes you got to know when to pull the trigger.
SMU may get another chance here. Hernandez.
Good defensive play.
Tripped away by Gasella. And here's your German in Derner. A foul on SMU.
Garrett Welch is going to get the yellow card for that foul. Just drawing back Derner.
The caution on the senior from nearby Richmond, Texas.
You see it again here. Actually, that wasn't Derner that got the yellow card. It's going to be Philip Ponder, actually. Just tugging on the jersey a little bit of Derner.
Our referee, Mark Allerton. Owls still determined to find that first goal to make this a much more manageable second half.
That's got to be a foul.
Yeah, not playing the ball and tugged down from behind.
Not only does that have to be a foul, that's got to be a yellow card.
And it is. Well, he got his money's worth.
We're going to see it here. That's Garrett McLaughlin causing the Temple defense all kinds of trouble.
Again, the yellow on Gasella.
Nice bit of sportsmanship
Well,
there.
you can do that and be the good sport when you know the scoreboard favors you by 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a free kick, but not as close as the 2 that led to goals for SMU in the first 5 minutes.
Can still get a quality delivery here. It can be dangerous.
They got it to about 12 yards when it was deflected towards the goal. They'll carry over the crossbar.
That was close, and it was a decent delivery, and a nice looping header goes just over the crossbar.
Initiated by the freshman Noah Hilt from Aurora, Colorado, in his 17th appearance on the year. In SMU 11th in the coaches poll this week.
Good slide tackle.
It's for tackle to take it away.
That's Garrett Welch. Nice little cutback.
And it is taken right off his left boot. It'll be a corner kick for SMU.
Nick Sarver doing a good job of tracking back and getting a foot in on that Garrett Welch shot. We're going to see it here. Garrett Welch doing a good job winning the ball back, and that was actually, he won it back off of Sarver. Sarver tracking back, getting a foot in there, but conceding a corner. What can SMU do here? Can they put the game to bed?
It's been about 50 minutes since we saw the last goal from the Mustangs. This is Jared Rice, 5 assists on the year.
Good delivery.
And the Owls do exactly what you need. Get the first touch, get it out. It'll be SMU with a throw to the right of their bench.
That was a quality clearance.
And Kevin Hudson said he was looking for a 3rd goal in his mind to put this out of reach. Mind you, he's got the goalkeeper of the year, the defensive player of the year, even without tonight the services of the midfielder of the year in the American. From distance. And Mustang will go down injured. That will halt the effort.
Had been a little bit of a twisted ankle or twisted knee there. It's good call on the foul. You see it again here. SMU Mustang just try to undercut his defender.
Oh yeah.
He'd get stepped on a little bit. It wasn't a twisted ankle. He got stepped on a bit, but completely unintentional there. That's Garrett McLaughlin again. He's been all over the place here in the second half.
And last year with 4 goals was your rookie of the year in the American. He had the game winner on Saturday, the lone goal against UConn. The reason why we're in Dallas here tonight. Well, Temple had some opportunities early coming out of the locker room. They'll still have some chances. Sent out wide from Sullivan. Owls, your number 4 seed. Looking for a second half comeback here on the road in Dallas. And they'll settle for a throw here about 8 yards off the flag in the corner. SMU gets the first touch, shot coming from 19, and I don't know if it was just mishit or if they were really looking to lay it off.
We'll give Sarver the benefit of the doubt and say he's trying to put it back in the mixer. Fortunately for Temple, just nothing comes of this attack again.
And you see, even on an evening in the mid-50s, the sweat, the effort for Temple down a man, trying to pull closer in this. They're confirming the card that was assessed earlier on Ponder, not on Welch. Some bookkeeping. A friendly tap back to Samnick. Goalkeeper out of Atlanta. SMU wants the handball call. Not going to get it at this juncture.
Oh, Candia was making a great run up the middle of the pitch. Unfortunately, Temple just cannot find him.
He saw some frustration from Candia. And you hope he'll just continue to make those runs and not be discouraged.
It's tough to make those darting runs right in between the two center backs and not being found again and again. He's making another good run, and they're not finding him, unfortunately.
Treppier looking to link up with the German Derner. And ultimately, Michael Nelson back in frame for SMU. Never had to land on the ball. And looking for number 3. Mustangs looking to punch their ticket into Sunday. 3 goals from 3 different men in red tonight. The third from Nicky Hernandez.
And that was a wonderful finish, but it was an even a better flick-on header from Garrett McLaughlin that put him through.
The first goal from the run of play for the Mustangs tonight.
Look at that header from Garrett McLaughlin. It's wonderful. Puts it perfectly in stride for Nicky Hernandez. He takes a perfect first touch and finishes with aplomb. No mistakes about it. And it's 3-0 here for the Mustangs.
Our 3 goal scorers this evening for SMU had a combined 1 goal all season. Hernandez had that lone goal. He's now doubled his tally for his freshman campaign.
What's the mark of a great team is having strength and depth and being able to score from any position. And this SMU side definitely has that. Every single one of these players is comfortable in front of goal. They're all very skilled. And you're seeing it here today, completely outclassing this Temple Owls side.
So with half an hour to go, playing up a man, how will this affect the way that SMU's Kevin Hudson coaches the remainder of this match? As Temple, again, down a man, fires one in from 40. They're going to win themselves a corner kick. So opportunity for the Owls again, a valuable set piece. They're going to bring Alan Camacho Soto back on.
And I don't totally agree with this substitution. They're bringing him on from Candia, and I think Temple have been most dangerous when both of those players are on the pitch at the same time. They've shown a lot of chemistry, especially in the beginning of that first half. In my opinion, they need both those players on at the same time to be more successful offensively.
Eunice Jokinen looking to possibly come back for the first time since going out with an injury in the first half. And this ball delivered back post. Owls got the first touch. Hernandez on it. Let's check in with Haley again down on the sideline.
Well, you guys mentioned it, but 3 goals for 3 different players, and depth is something that Coach Hudson really values. With a veteran-laden team, 6 or 7 seniors playing big minutes, and a few freshmen starting as well. He thinks that you really need 18 solid players to have a successful season. That depth is super important, and he likes getting those freshmen into the mix as well. It's great them getting these minutes in these big games with these veterans around them. It's going to be great for their future, and he says, hey, if they're ready to play, they're not too young.
SMU has now outscored their opponents this year 34-9, including 20-6 in the second half. You talk about depth. Well, the depth at Temple had been tested. We did see the return of Jokinen during that last stoppage.
And he'll play down that right-hand side. He took off Albert Moreno. Moreno's had a decent game so far. He's been trying to get forward and be dangerous. SMU have dealt with him well, though.
Well, the new Mustangs are going to get some camera time here tonight at the next stoppage in play. We'll see Christian Borum out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Colton Hobbecker from Douglas, Pennsylvania. Hobbecker, former Pennsylvania high school player of the year back in 2013, wearing the number 15. Going to go up against a program I'm sure he's pretty familiar with growing up. Temple out of Philadelphia. And Quayshow still on pace for the game winner with his first goal of his junior year. Nicky Hernandez also coming off. Long toss in from Munjoma. Mustangs with the first touch. Keeper fell down. The Mustangs can't take advantage. SMU's not content with 3 goals. Temple not content, being shut out.
Jose Soto just trying to do some step overs, getting the ball caught underneath him.
You can't give the ball a yellow. That's just some fatigue adding up.
I really appreciate, though, Jose Soto's heart that he's showed on display here today. He's really hustling, trying to be physical, trying to win the ball back for his team. He's showing some good character as a freshman.
From 19, hangs on to it.
Have a shot.
How about from 20 straight away? No, sir.
Good closing down there by the defense of SMU.
Still 27 minutes here in the second half. SMU found that elusive third goal just a couple minutes ago. Nicky Hernandez with his second on the year. Again, SMU without Mauro Cicero tonight. Tongue-in-cheek, perhaps he's overrated.
Well, these SMU Mustangs have done a great job at stepping up in his absence. Garrett Welch in particular.
Well, Citro gone. Again, that's 9 goals, 7 assists you were without. Quayshow helped fill that void early on.
Yeah, as I said before, strength and depth is the mark of a great team, and so far SMU have shown the telltale signs of a great team.
Mentioned Colton Habecker came on. He's the young man out of Douglasville, Pennsylvania, in high school named. His high school named the #1 team in the country. His dad Kurt played for NC State, second generation college soccer player. Munjoma.
Good physical defensive play there.
And the Owls able to hold on for the goal kick. We'll see the return of DJ Williams now, the sophomore, out of Fort Worth Country Day down the road.
Substitution number 31, DJ Williams.
DJ's 17th appearance this year. Well, if you are UCF scouting this one, again, you start to dial in even more so on SMU. As UCF's last loss came in Dallas against these Mustangs 2-1 back on September 29th. 8 unbeaten since on a 6-match winning streak after defeating UConn earlier tonight. We'll say it didn't go without controversy, as Huskies appeared to score a late goal that went unnoticed. Would have likely sent us into overtime. As again, the Owls will swing it along their back line with 24.5 to go. A lot of SMU players getting some valuable minutes now down the stretch, and for pride, they will seek to uphold this clean sheet with their keeper Nelson. It would be his 10th on the year.
He hasn't had much to do here in the second half in terms of making tough saves. He did make one so far this season, I mean, so far this game, excuse me. And it could have, if it was a goal that hit the back of the net, it could have swung the momentum back to Temple's side. So he's coming big for them so far.
Owls with a chance, building forward. Top of the 18. Well played. And a corner kick coming up for Temple.
Again, Soto causing all kinds of trouble for SMU. He's really got that forwards instinct when he tries to get on the ball. He tries to get a shot on frame. We're going to see it here. Makes a diagonal run. You see him calling for the ball. Takes one touch, tries to get a shot off. Does a good job at drawing the corner.
Denied by your conference defensive player of the year, as David McWilliams drawing up the three-point play. Corner kick looking to put that first goal on the board. Owls with another bite at the apple, and it's sent back out.
He sent that ball straight across the 6-yard box, and it was dangerous, but SMU deal with it well.
Temple still threatening. Nick Sarver throws it in. Soto, 3 Mustangs have his attention. And SMU now goes back to the bench. It's Austin Vincent who comes on. The freshman from Longview, Texas, over in East Texas, makes his 4th appearance. A little over an hour of work this season. Chance to reward some of these Mustangs and keep the starters as healthy as possible for Sunday. Williams, full speed ahead. Out wide.
Beautiful.
Williams, header denied. Samnick comes through.
And that was a beautiful cross to Williams. Pinpoint accuracy on it. We're going to see it here. It was a beautiful cross laid off by, beautiful ball laid off by Williams. And again, a pinpoint cross right onto his head. He does put it on frame. Not enough pace behind it. Samnick makes a save.
Becker got it started. An excellent stop by Samnick a moment ago. Remember, the first 2 goals he conceded were on free kicks. One from straight away just outside the 18. The other one from the right wing on the edge of the 18. Only 1 goal had been allowed through the run of play. Likely the least significant. And Samnick, friendly touch back his way. We'll send it back up towards the center circle. They play it back to Vincent in his first minutes on the pitch. Don't tell these Mustangs that it's over. Still full speed with 21 minutes to go.
That's good to see. You don't want to see them drop off in level. I want to see them still have that sense of urgency. This game might be over, but they have a conference final to win.
UCF awaits the winner tonight. At the moment that appears to be the Mustangs. They would be the 1 and 2 seeds colliding. And of course, last 3 years, that championship has gone to a shootout, much like the women's championship did last week. Last week, it was the 2 teams with the shortest trip that stuck around for Sunday, including your host school at UCF, although they did fall in the shootout. SMU hoping for a better fate here at Westcott Field, where they're looking to improve at the end of tonight to 11-0 at home this year. Well, jostling on the edge of the 18. That ball still in play. Owls able to clear it. Right there, you were seeing a hungry Austin Vincent. All of these young men for SMU looking to get into the box score.
See Albert Moreno come back into the game.
Moreno, again, the sophomore out of Spain. As coming off Trepanier. He went to Dallastown High School, but that's nowhere nearby. It's up in York, PA. Well, we're going to see some significant cogs for this Mustang group coming back on here. So this is not going to simply be the B team closing it out for head coach Kevin Hudson. He's continuing to rotate the pieces. SMU found their 3rd goal here in the second half after they'd been held scoreless since the first 5 minutes when they found their first 2 goals. Mind you, there's no burden on them to fire many shots. Possession was just as effective. Owls playing down a man since late in the first half. And Michael Nelson will take his time. Habecker.
Ooh. That was almost a nice little chip over the top.
And SMU has numbers to their advantage here on this end. Right up the middle.
Nice.
Extra pass out to Williams. He'll feed it inside the 18 where it's quickly rejected. They'll swing it around the back row. So soon enough, the Mustangs will bring back in Munjoma along with Jacob Cohen and Bryce Clark. For Cohen, it'll be his 6th appearance on the year, the sophomore out of Phoenix. The other 2, of course, starters. And all the way back to Michael Samnick, who has not had a bad night. This has been put in some tough situations by his defense.
Well, especially by Sigthorsson. You know, he's the one that gave up the 2 dangerous free kicks that SMU scored from in their first 2 goals. It's been a tough night for that kid.
One would result in the first yellow for the native of Iceland. Would pick up a yellow later on in the first half.
Absolutely can't blame Samnick for these 3 goals. But it just speaks to some of their youth here in the Temple side. Not being able to rise up to the occasion, sort of getting frazzled, maybe frazzled by how big this game actually is.
UCF 1-0. Second half goal, good enough to punch their ticket into Sunday. SMU had that first goal just outside of the first 2 minutes here tonight. That's after the first goal didn't come till the 21st minute when these 2 teams met earlier this year. Hear the approval from the SMU staff. And still able to maintain possession. Vincent takes a peek with that ball inside the 18. Owls send it back out. Owls back line makes no mistake. And he'll have a chance to send this up to midfield. From 21 yards, denied at the top of the 18.
Habecker did a good job of taking his space. And now Temple can go on the counterattack. They need more bodies forward, though.
And coming out, again, your goalkeeper of the year, if we haven't mentioned it yet this half, more than 5 times, Michael Nelson.
That's to be expected. Comes to the rescue. Last line of defense. That was a decent ball in, but again, Nelson quick off his line. Gathers easily.
Again, statistically, Temple has just put 1 fewer shot on goal than SMU has, 5-4. The stats are not as lopsided as the scoreboard. Vincent within 25. And they will call that foul. A free kick coming up for the Mustangs. And in a moment, we will have a bevy of Owls and Mustangs coming on.
It was a tough tackle there from the side. It's a clear foul there from Soto.
Those are the 5 individuals obstructing Haley's view. Asking that they have a ticket.
Dangerous free kick opportunity here.
From 30 yards out. And on Saturday, that would be worth 3. When you're up 3-0, You can grin from ear to ear like Noah Hilt. So it's one thing to say you're going to sub 3 men in. It's another to figure out for whom. Owls will go with a 2-man swap. As for SMU, Garrett Welch will come off. For Temple, is Herman Durner among those coming out. Munjoma has come back in with fresh legs for the final 13.
Along with Jacob Cohen as well for SMU.
SMU men's basketball team victorious tonight as the red lights illuminating campus nearby. Fans filing out of Moody Coliseum across the street. Noticing perhaps another match that might go the way of the Mustangs this evening under the lights. What a great environment here on campus at SMU. Chipped into the 18. And no stress for Nelson. Nelson will add to his daily steps. And 1v1 out there on the 18. Owls will intervene, send it into touch. Well, again, on Sunday, it will be the men's championship, 1 o'clock on ESPNU. We know the number 2 seed will be there, UCF. What a run they have had, arguably the hottest team in this conference, if it's not SMU. As SMU on an 8-match unbeaten streak coming in. UCF's last loss came to these Mustangs back in September. They were unbeaten through October, as were the Mustangs. Of course, SMU has never settled for anything less than a victory on this pitch this year. No losses and no draws.
Had an incredible record here at home, making this pitch a fortress. A scary place to come and play for anybody in the American Athletic Conference.
And SMU last year went 2-4-1, finishing 7th in the league, a 6-win season. They had that entering conference play, those 6 wins this year. SMU's next change will be somebody wearing something other than a red kit, as we will see a change between the posts. There will be no complete game shutout for your goalkeeper of the year, but an ovation for Michael Nelson here in a moment. And this will be the first minutes of the year for Patrick Michael Hilliard, the sophomore out of Houston.
That's a nice gesture by Coach Hudson, getting some minutes for Hilliard.
Both of them grew up in that Katy area. Nelson going to Seven Lakes, while Hilliard to Cinco Ranch. Third goalkeeper SMU has used this year. This will be just the 16th minute of the season in which Nelson is not in frame.
Well, just another incredible performance by Nelson. You see why he's one of the best goalkeepers in the nation. Making some big saves early on in the first half, really kept SMU in it and gave him the confidence to go forward and continue to put this game to bed as they have.
He'll finish with 4 saves tonight. And that one will just stay within the confines of this facility.
Vicious effort there.
Crossbar is still at 8 feet, right?
Something like that.
Again, we remind you, Temple has been playing this entire second half down a man, down multiple goals. Went into halftime knowing the uphill battle on the road against SMU.
And credit to Temple, they came out in the second half, flying. They really had a lot of possession, especially for being down a man. And they tried to get forward and get a goal, but unfortunately, getting caught too far forward with only 1 man back, SMU took advantage of that, had a beautiful flick-on header and a beautiful finish by Nicky Hernandez.
Oh, tad heavy of a touch. Able to keep it in play, but the Owls will land on it outside the 18. Mustangs were looking for the 4 spot. Again, SMU scored 6 against Northeastern back on October 10th in the midst of conference play, but a non-conference foe. Put up 4 on Loyola. And several other victims seeing a 3 spot. This is their highest scoring output in conference play this year. Obviously here in the conference tournament. And again, anytime you see that young man go down, you're thankful when Eunice Jokinen can pop back up. The senior had a scare back in the first half.
He's shown an incredible amount of heart to get back in this game and trying to make a difference for his team.
But a loss tonight would likely signal the end of the college careers for this senior class that helped get the Owls into the conference tournament once again. We mentioned SMU was 7th last year in conference, just ahead of them in the table. Temple finishing 6th last season. See if the Owls can test the new goalkeeper, Hilliard. Their mission right now is to get that 0 off the board in these final 7 minutes. Well done, within 8. Shot from 18, well off the mark. Would love to have that to do again.
That was Jokinen again getting into that one, just leaning back, trying to hit it with the outside of his foot. And leaning that far back, it was always going to go over the crossbar.
See the time melting away. Ever since the first 5 minutes, that clock has been cheering on the Mustangs to their advantage. SMU scored its first goal, Quaisho, off a free kick at the top of the 18, just into the 3rd minute. And Quaisho's first goal of the year at the moment could prove to be his first game winner of 2017.
What a quality free kick that was. Unbelievable, right into the upper 90. It really set the tone for this game for SMU.
And the Owls will give it away. In stride. Within 20. Has the keeper off his line, and there's number 4 on the night for the Mustangs. Williams comes through. More offense off the bench tonight for SMU.
And that was a wonderful finish, but also a great run before that from Buram. Wonderful individual effort by both these men. Drives right into the center of that defense. DJ Williams takes a nice touch down the end line, beats the keeper near post, and it's 4-0 to the Mustangs. And they're going to be in the final, if we didn't already know, of the American Athletic Conference Championship.
For the Dallas native, DJ's 2nd goal on the year.
Showed a ton of confidence in front of goal there.
The assist for Christian Borum. It was 2-0 at halftime. And for those of you listening in on the crowd mic, a foreign language credit. One of our many players from France on display here tonight. A foul outside of the 18. And this will give the Owls their best look in a little while. See if they can take that 0 off the board.
We'll see what kind of quality they can put on this ball, on this free kick, and get a consolation goal.
There's the aforementioned gentleman from France.
First bit of action here for Hilliard.
Yeah, Hilliard, again, the sophomore. This is his first match of the year. Moreno stands over it. Spain to the left of the ball. France will now cross. The Spaniard. Perhaps we just have the dimensions wrong on the frame.
Well, it's hard to get that ball up and over the wall and down under that crossbar. Takes a big piece of individual skill. I know sometimes the pro players make it look easy, but it's definitely not.
So SMU tonight, 6 shots on goal, 4 of them have found their way across the goal line. 2 on set pieces, more recently 2 through the run of play. 4 goals from 4 different players for SMU tonight. A night where they are without Mauro Cicero in the semifinals due to injury. Take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our American Digital Network crew, as coverage of both women's and men's soccer this fall significantly stepped up, shining the spotlight on some very impressive clubs throughout the country here in this conference. Again, we mentioned we were in Tulsa earlier this year, got our first look at these Mustangs, made our way out to Stores to see then Tulsa collide with UConn, and Simnick with the save. But what a treat it has been to see the many talented programs. Of course, the women's tournament, NCAA tournament, got started this evening. UCF representing the conference as a national seed. But a big thank you to the men and women of our production crew for help making it possible, certainly. As the Mustangs are less than 2 minutes away from hosting the championship on Sunday against UCF, 1 seed versus 2 seed. Mustangs knew that match would be here on their home campus on Sunday regardless, so they might as well participate. You don't have any other plans, do you?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this SMU side go against a very talented UCF side. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Both teams full of individual skill. Both teams play well as a team.
Out wide to Vincent. Inside the 18, he'll win a corner kick for SMU. Inside the final minute, as SMU left little doubt after scoring 2 in the first 5 minutes, adding 2 more insurance goals here in the second half. The Mustangs, your #1 seed, will move on to play UCF on Sunday. A 1 o'clock start time over on ESPNU. And a short corner and more possession. Time off the clock for the men in red tonight. They locked up the regular season championship back on Saturday here at Westcott Field. On Sunday, they hope to lift their 2nd trophy in 8 days here in Dallas. The #1 seed Mustangs are moving on to the championship. We will see you on Sunday as SMU and UCF will collide for the title and the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
Just an unbelievable effort here from the Mustangs. Played with such confidence going forward and very solid in defense, giving this Temple side almost no opportunities on goal. Any real opportunities, that is. Nelson did keep him in the game after Jokinen's strike was on goal. It was a great save by Nelson. But this, you never were in doubt that these SMU Mustangs were going to come out with a win after seeing them come out with so much energy and so much confidence going forward. And they really put it on this Temple side, putting 4 goals on them after a big red card from Sigthorsson. Unfortunate for Temple, they did a good job towards the end of the season. They went on a nice win streak to get into that 4th seed to make it to this tournament. But unfortunately for them, you know, they really sort of capitulated in this game. Maybe the event a bit too much for this young side, but they'll be back next season. They have a great squad, but again, just SMU too much today.
Emil Quaisho with his first goal and his first game winner of the season for the Mustangs. Got the scoring started, and that man, your defensive player of the year, with his first goal of his senior campaign. So Kano gets an embrace as he came in on that second free kick to clean things up when SMU was able to throw numbers on frame. But an ideal night, SMU, as your #1 seed, moves on and was able to rotate in a lot of players to stay fresh for Sunday. I have a chance to check in with Haley Mountain here in a moment, as she is with the victorious head coach, Kevin Hudson. Haley?
Coach, 7th straight clean sheet for your defense. How impressive were they tonight in a very solid performance in the semifinal?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance. I mean, we weren't fantastic. We weren't the best we played this year, but, you know, they were solid. And, you know, Michael had to make a couple good saves, but, no, we're pleased with the result.
Able to tack on 2 goals in the second half and get some subs in. How vital is that going to be, just knowing the tough game you have ahead of yourself on Sunday?
Yeah, we wanted to, once we were trying to get the 3rd goal, and once they committed a bunch of numbers forward and left 3 in the back and left McLaughlin 1v1, we knew that, you know, the next goal would be coming here quickly. And once we got the 3rd, we decided to rest some bodies and get everybody in that we could, and, you know, hopefully that serves us well on Sunday.
You were able to take care of business against UCF in the regular season, but they're playing like a whole different team now, it seems. They're really riding a hot streak here towards the end of the year. What did you see from them earlier today, assuming you were kind of giving them a watch, and what do you notice from the film just back earlier this year?
Sure, I saw nothing earlier today because I didn't watch it. I went for a nice walk, but they're a very good team. I think they're, you know, I told all the coaches that they were the favorite coming into this tournament. They were in the best form with all their players healthy. And I like their team. I like how they play. The coach does a very good job, and a lot of respect for the way they go about the game. So it should be a fun match on Sunday.
Your team is heading to their first American Athletic Conference championship. What does it mean to you to help your team get there this year? But just what kind of cap would it be on the season that your team has had?
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, it's another opportunity for these boys to, you know, play for a trophy. And that's, you know, ultimately what we're looking for, is to add trophies to the cabinet in the locker room, and they'll be prepared.
All right, thanks a lot. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you very much, Haley. Again, on Sunday, what will we see? We'll see the 1 seed and 2 seed. SMU with the stacked lineup. So many regular season honors, including your defensive player of the year, who got in a little bit of offense tonight. Haley?
All right, Coach just he said I had to ask you about the mustache. So tell us, what's going on with the mustache?
Well, a couple of us seniors got together and decided we'd do something fun as a group for playoffs. So we all decided to grow out our mustaches and shave the rest of our face, and just a little fun within the team. So
hopefully you guys can keep growing those for a little while longer here. But but as a senior and the defensive player of the year, able to get your first goal of the season tonight, what did that feel like? What did you see on that set piece?
That was fantastic. It was a fantastic feeling to win something like that, and then also to be able to score and contribute to your team's success. That's always amazing. And just saw the ball's great service in, and I beat my man and just flicked it in, tried to get it on goal. So, and then the ball did the rest. So that's amazing.
Able to help out on the offensive side, but also the 7th straight shutout for this team. How much pride do you take in that result each game?
A lot. We always make sure that there's 0-0 on the end of that scoreboard at the end of the game. As long as we're doing that, we're doing our job, and the rest is just, you know, I mean, if we can score as well, we can help out the team. That's awesome. But, you know, our main job is to make sure we keep a 0 on that board, and so we did a very good job the last couple of games. And it's not just me; it's the whole back line, and especially Michael Nelson as well. He's came up for us a few times today, and he had some fantastic game and fantastic saves.
It's been a great season for your team, but you're a senior playing in your first American Athletic Conference championship, and you guys get to play it at home. What does this mean to you to have the opportunity to raise a 2nd trophy here in about a week?
You know, winning trophies is everything. Winning is that's why we play the game, you know, so there's no better feeling than that. And being able to win one is an amazing feeling, so we want to hopefully keep that momentum going on to tomorrow and raise another for this school and for this team. You know, we worked really hard for something like this, so hopefully we can bring it home again.
All right, well, good luck on Sunday. We'll see you out here.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Haley, for your hard work tonight, patrolling the sideline. If there's a difficult question, you know you must ask. That is your final dad joke of the night. SMU victorious 4-0 as we get a late groan, I'm sure, from our viewing audience before we sign off the air. For Haley and Roland, I'm Lincoln. What a night. SMU will meet UCF. Two teams. Why are they here in the tournament? Because they never lost in October. Your two hottest teams in the American collide for at least 90 minutes on Sunday. We'll slide over to ESPNU, a 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern kick over on the worldwide leader. Again, final time, a big thank you to our entire ADN crew for their productions all season long of men's and women's soccer. The Mustangs on their home turf prevail tonight 4-0 past Temple.